Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give y'all a chance to tune in before I start building on this topic for today. Hopefully, y'all having a peaceful Saturday thus far. Everything going smooth. Y'all staying healthy, staying out of the way. Maintaining your peace and your balance. James Brown, what's going on with you, my brother? Give y'all a chance to get comfortable, man, before I really start building, so you won't miss some of the juicy content, man. So give y'all a chance to come on in, tap in, tune in with your boy, man. Like I said, hopefully y'all enjoying this weekend thus far. Anthony Peace G, what's going on with you? B Peace, what's going on? Beautiful Goddess Keys, Peace Queen, what's going on with you? Lindell Peace, what's going on? Justin, Redbird 101, Peace, how y'all living? Howard Peace, what's going on with you? How y'all holding up, man? How y'all maintaining? Hopefully y'all staying centered, man, in the midst of all of this chaos. Terenzo Peace, what's going on? What's going on with you, my brother? Magic Rims, what's going on with you? Like I said, we're gonna dive into the deep end, man. It's one of them topics that, you know, they don't like for this type of information to get out here, but we already know the truth. We know the truth, so we're not gonna conceal the truth. We're gonna reveal the truth. That's what we here for. That's what we here for. But this is one of them topics, man, that causes a lot of controversy. But it is what it is. Like, that's the type of stuff that I like to talk about. Really don't care what other people think. Can't get mad at the truth. Truth don't really care about anybody's feelings. It's neutral. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But like I said, this is one of them topics that tends to rile up the emotions of some people. And what's crazy is you would think that it would rile up the emotions of Europeans, of white people, more so than black people. But when I start talking about this particular subject matter, it tends to rile up the emotions of more black people. I tend to have more black people that come at me hard when I start spitting this type of information than white people, because like I said, the white people know the truth. It's us that don't know the truth. We don't know the truth about ourselves. So when somebody starts coming out, letting us know the truth about ourselves, confrontation, backlash, resistance. But you're not going to get much resistance for some of these white folks, because like I said, they know the truth. They try to keep that truth concealed behind closed doors. They worshiping exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But they don't want you to know that. They want to give you an image of God for you to worship. Like, when you're not worshiping the God that they created in their image, then now it's a problem. But as long as you worshiping the God that they gave you, that they created in their image, it's all good. It's all good. Which, that's when we go back to COINTELPRO, when they didn't want to see the rise of a black messiah. They didn't, and they still don't want to see the rise of a black messiah. One of the things that they cannot have, because everybody knows that they say that we are a spiritual people, and we're going to break down really what this word means. We're going to break down what all of this stuff means. Eli, appreciate the donation. But one of the ways that you can really get black people riled up is start tapping into that emotion. And one of the ways to tap into that emotion is you start talking about things like religion. So if you can get black people to come together and start, I don't even want to say worshiping, but understand that God is within them. If you get enough black people to come together and realize that we have a problem. We have a problem, and they cannot allow that. So anytime you see someone come on the scene and start telling you, we're not going to worship this white Jesus, we're not going to worship a white God, because that's not an actual fact. We're going to worship a God in our image, because that's actually the true color of God, color in quotes, because y'all know how I view colored man and colored people. They are actually colored people. We are original. So when we start worshiping original deities and things of that nature, they have a problem, because we got to understand the power that's going to come behind us worshiping deities that resemble our pigmentation. So when we start learning that truth, then we become unstoppable, and we go to the school systems. This is one of the problems that I have with the school system. And I actually had this conversation with my mother. She didn't really think that it would make a big difference if They actually taught the correct history. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? You got things like Pythagorean theorem. You got all of these things or inventions that have been attributed to the Greeks, the Romans, white people. All right. So what does that do to the black child when they see a bunch of white people behind these inventions, behind these creations, behind these theories? That subconsciously and sometimes even consciously on the surface makes them feel inferior. Then when the white child sees the same thing, when they see nothing but images of people that resemble their pigmentation or their skin tone, doing all these fabulous things, creating everything, being a mastermind behind all of these theories, that makes them feel superior subconsciously. And the cycle is now repeating itself. It's continuing. That's why, hence, we are still in the position that we are today. It all starts in that school system. So little small things like creating something, calling the Pythagorean theorem, and making it seem like he is behind that, like he didn't get all that information from the Egyptian mystery school. That's a problem. It may seem small, but that's big. We need to teach that truth. Where did Pythagorean travel to go get that theory? He traveled to Egypt. He traveled to the mystery schools. He got that theory from people that look like us, but the book is not going to expose that and reveal that. They want to make it seem like he created this theory, like he didn't travel anywhere for the theory. Same with a lot of them popular Greek philosophers. When we start talking about Plato's and Socrates and things of that nature, even Jesus, man, they didn't all travel to Egypt to get their information, to get their wisdom. And some of them took the wisdom, they fabricated the wisdom in order to manipulate the people. So they didn't necessarily teach the entire truth of what they got from when they traveled to the Egyptian mystery schools. So they concealed the real truth and only revealed what it is that they wanted to reveal, and fabricated some of that information to make them appear superior or above the people, the masses. But they don't want to teach that in school. So I know y'all all done been in the same system that I done been in. When it comes to like philosophers and things like that, man, when you start looking into all these theories, man, what type of people are attached to the creations of these philosophies, these theories? Greeks. How many black philosophers have you heard about when you was in school? How many black people? Like how many black people, black ancestors? I'm not talking about the George Washington Carvers and things of that nature. I'm talking about going back in time. How many of those people do you hear about in school coming up? I can tell you, I heard about absolutely none. They made it seem like my history started in slavery. I don't know if y'all went through the same system that I went through, but they made it look like my history, my people's history, started in slavery. Like we did nothing else before we came over here and was enslaved, like we was heathens, like we was savages. And we got to know and understand that that is not an actual fact. Century, that Yoruba book, most definitely. Zucko, I wouldn't be surprised if he did travel to the mystery school. I don't have any information stating that he did, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, a lot of people traveled to that mystery school. And like I said, some of those people came back and they fabricated what they had learned, and they fabricated what they had taught to the people. And that's one of the issues that we tend to have, one of the minor issues that we tend to have with like the Nation of Islam here in America. We feel like they not teaching everything right and exact in regards to them still worshiping the mystery God. See, we know and understand that God is really not a mystery. But you got when power when power is an issue here, when people want that power, that power struggle, when people are after power, then you have things like that where people in order to control the masses, like they gonna conceal the actual truth. They're not gonna tell people that God is within them. Because if I tell enough people that God is within, if I tell you that God is within you, if that's my message, then I'm not able to really control you. Like if I'm telling you God is within you, how can I control you at that particular point? I can't do that. I got to make myself seem like a messenger. I got to make there be a mystery God, and I got to make it look like I'm the link between you and this mystery God, because I'm the messenger. So I gotta be the middleman. So you can't get to this mystery God without me because I'm the messenger. That's all power. That's all that is. So people that do that, they are after power. What better way to manipulate the people to say, hey, there is this mystery God, but if you want access to him, I'm the messenger. Then you gotta talk to me. You gotta believe me. You gotta follow me, opposed to actually teaching the truth that's within the doctrine. Ye are all gods. We are gods. You are gods. God is within you. Then you don't need that middleman. You don't need that middleman to get access to something that's already within you. But they've taken that and they made it appear as if what they have done is they have separated God from man, God from individual. They have separated the two. Once they separated the two, then you created these messengers and you say, all right, if you're trying to get to God, then you got to get to me because I'm the messenger. So you must follow me. So that's trick knowledge. That's how they get the people. Zucko, no doubt. And then and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about too. It not being basically for the peasants, for the everyday average person. And again, when you even study our nation, you talk about the 5% that know the truth. That's a small percentage. So even when you go to the ancient Egyptian mystery school, like I said, even the 5% nation of gods and earths, that's fairly recent development in regards to a culture, but nothing is new under the sun. We not teaching anything that's necessarily new, and we not operating under a foundation that's new. The foundation that we actually talk about and live by has been in existence, and the ancient Egyptian mystery school is further proof of that. It's letting you know that it's only a small percentage of people that will undergo the rigorous studying that's involved in order to establish what the truth is. It's only a small percentage of people that will come into that truth. It's only a small percentage of people that will be willing to do the work to unravel the truth. It's only a small percentage of people who will live that truth out. That's what the ancient Egyptian mystery school proved. Even when you start studying martial arts, it's a process, and not everybody will make it through that process. So it's the same way to this day. When it comes to the truth, when it comes to unraveling the truth, only a small percentage of people can actually handle that process because it's a rigorous process. Sometimes it can even get depression. It can get depressing, Like, this process is real. It's strenuous. So not everybody is built for this process. And that's basically what I would take away from the ancient Egyptian mystery school. No, not everybody. Not everybody is ready for that type of school. Not everybody will be able to walk through a school like that and come out right and exact. Not everybody is built for it. Not everybody is built for this way of life. So that's one of my takeaways from the ancient Egyptian mystery schools. Only a select few, like I said, that'll be able to undergo that process. It's only a select few. And you can just apply that to today's time. Y'all some wise individuals, man. Y'all to start coming across the truth. Just analyze your inner circle. You probably the black sheep out of the family. You probably the black sheep out of your inner circle. More than likely, it's not a bunch of yous in your inner circle. You may be the only one. You may be the only one that talks about some of the things that you talk about. I can tell you for a fact that I am. Especially when I came into the knowledge. When I came into the knowledge, I was definitely the black sheep. But the longer you live with this particular knowledge, like, everything starts to change, man. You start changing who you hang around and things of that nature. And then some people that's around you, they actually start taking heed to some of the information that you spitting out. And even when it comes to information, the thing of it is, when it comes to information, I'm not necessarily even telling you to believe what it is that I'm spitting. All I'm telling you is to do the knowledge to what it is that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. That's all that a lot of people say. Do the knowledge to what it is that I'm saying. That's inspiring you, or that should encourage you to basically study, to research. But that word, that's almost like a bad word to people. That's almost like a curse word to people. Reading, studying, researching. Those are like bad words to people. People do not like to read. People do not like to study. People do not like to research. So once they know that they will have to read, study, research, then you have just eliminated 80, 90% of the people that you will come across. 80 to 90%, because a lot of people, most people don't like doing those three things. They don't like them. And the school system is to blame for some of it. Zucko, most definitely. Most definitely. But when it comes to basically what I titled this video as, this topic, man, I could talk about this for days, because like I said, this was part of me attaining that knowledge of self. One of the first things that they like, it's a lot. This quote is in a lot of books, not even a quote, but it's a question that a lot of people haven't necessarily dabbled with. It's a question that a lot of people haven't dabbled with, and this is one of the questions that when you are coming into consciousness, coming into knowledge of yourself, you must ask yourself, and you must seek that answer within yourself. And the question is simple: who is God? How many people have literally asked themselves that question and came up with an answer? That's a question not too many people can answer personally. Who is God? And that's one of the questions that I was asking myself. And like I said, that led me to the culture that I'm currently with to this day. But that was an important question in regards to me coming into consciousness, because like I said, I was seeking a bunch of information. Like I was seeking a path, man. I was seeking peace. Obviously, I was seeking it outside of myself. And then that led to me just questioning religion. And then on top of questioning religion, I said, man, who is God? Who is God? And then that leads to you studying. You start studying things like etymology. You start actually looking or diving into the Bible. You start really thinking about who is God? Who is this person? Who is this individual? Who is this being? However it is that you want to phrase it. And like I said, that is when you are going to come to the conclusion. This is when you are going to come to the conclusion. As what Goody Mob said, God is every man of blackness. Like this is one, they said this in a song that they did back in the day, but y'all already know 5% we've been saying that. But Goody Mob broke that down. God is every man of blackness. When you start breaking down who God is, this is what you are going to come up with. Then even when you get deeper and you start breaking down the definition, like breaking down the origin of man and what does it mean to be man? When they tell you man equates to mind, man means to think. Like this is when you start breaking down the role of the black man. This is when you start breaking down your role as a black man. When you break down and you analyze the essence of black, being of a godly essence. And they've told you to hate that particular color. They've told you to hate your black skin. They've told you to hate anything that's black. Anything that's black, they have taught you to hate that. When really, that's the color of God. That's the color that you should be embracing. And that's just an actual fact. But when you start breaking down everything piece by piece, word by word, then you come across your role as a black man. And the reason why I'm really harping on the black man is because I don't even feel like everything is really revolving around us. In order to really fix this nation, man, we got the women, whether they want to admit it or not, dependent on our strength, dependent on our power. But see, we got to realize this strength. We got to realize this power. We got to realize who we are. We got to realize who we are in order to lead this nation, in order to lead our universe. We got people dependent on us. Like I said, whether or not they're going to admit it on the surface, subconsciously, this is what's going on, because this is history. This is science. And this is not something that's modern. This is not modern day rhetoric. This is age-old rhetoric. But we, as black men, we have got to realize who we are by nature. Eli Smooth, most definitely you are. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But like I said, when you break down black, and a lot of people got definitions of who's black and who's not black. When we really break that word down, obviously we're not talking about skin tone. So a lot of times I do not like when people make it seem like when I'm referring to black, I'm referring to skin tone. And they start talking about the crayon box and say, I'm not the color of the black that's in the crayon box. If you taking it literal like that, This then went over your head, man. Black is more so an essence. It's a godly essence. In the beginning, you already know what was here. It was darkness. So that's your essence, man. Blackness, being black is an essence. It's an essence. Everything stemmed from that original darkness. Life came out of that darkness. Again, it's an essence. We're not necessarily talking about a color. We're talking about what your essence is. So when I tell you, when I say that you black, when I refer to anybody as black, I'm talking about your essence, that godly essence. That's what I'm talking about in regards to blackness, in regards to being black. Obviously, y'all can look at my skin tone and see that I'm brown. So I'm not talking about my skin tone when I talk about black. Not doing that. It's a little bit deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that. Again, we're talking about the essence. We're talking about your essence. And only a select few of us contain that essence. But that's what is meant by black, by blackness. So a lot of times we arguing about who's black and who's not black. Some of the people that are doing this arguing are not as black as the people that they are telling you are not black. Because again, it's a thing of essence. So a lot of people don't understand that. And I just wanted to break that down. But then when you get down to the word man, like I said, man, when you study the etymology of the origin of it, you get down to mind, intelligence, to think. So again, when we break down the science, and a lot of people, a lot of women, they say when they say women are emotional, more emotional by nature than man, and then men are supposed to be more logical, then you have people who bring up the obvious. Got Captain Obviouses out here that lets you know that that's not always the case. Again, we talking in percentages. That's how it's supposed to be predominantly. We're not saying that it's not a case where it's the reverse, where a man may be more emotional and where a woman may be more logical and use her head to think. But like I broke it down in the video that I'm sure y'all heard me break this down. Y'all heard me break this down when I referred to man being the mind and the woman being the heart. Again, both need each other. But again, as a man, you have to realize your role. It's a reason why you have that title, man to think, intelligence, mind. We got to be that head. We got to be that intelligence. We got to be that mind. The woman is going to supply that heart. They are going to supply that emotion. They are going to supply all of that. They're going to supply all that. But again, if the household is missing that mind, if the household is missing that intelligence, then everything is out of whack. Everything is just overly emotional. Everything is dysfunctional. Or if the man is trying to be that heart while the woman is playing a role of the heart, again, you have no mind. You have no intelligence. You have no logic. You have no structure. You have no order. So that's why everything is chaotic. Everything is just overly emotional. Everything is dysfunctional. You have to understand your role as the mind. As the mind. You have to understand your role as that mind, as intelligence. And Eli Smooth, the talking about is only one God. That is actually something that was created by the Greeks. See, that's when I talk about that. When I talk about how they went over to the mystery schools and they fabricated a lot of information and they miseducated a lot of their people based off of certain things that they may have gathered from the ancient Egyptian mystery schools. Like that's one of them. That's one of them. When you talk about our ancestors, we didn't refer to God as something that was singular. It was God's. It wasn't no separation between, it wasn't necessarily a big separation between God and man. God was within all things, including man. So there was no separation there. And like I said, you had gods, plural, plenty of times. You even had that in the Bible until they altered the Bible and made it singular. So you got plenty of scriptures in the Bible to where they once were referring to it as gods, and then they changed it, took the S out and made it singular. Because at that particular point, when you see that it's plural, you got to start asking yourself, who are these gods that are mentioned? You already can go to Genesis, man. You already can go to Genesis when they talk about they, and then our likeness, like who is our, who is they? You're going to start asking those questions. So they didn't alter the Bible in a way to make it seem like there is only one God. It's not a fact, man. When you study a lot of your ancestors and you study a lot of old cultures, you're going to hear gods, plural. gonna be God. It's gonna be more than one. Because again, God was in all things. God was in everything. Wasn't no difference between God and man. And Nick Lewis, I ain't even get to the science and the biology behind it. Matter of fact, again, even the science and biology behind all of this, when we start really breaking down the atom, and we start even breaking down, matter of fact, we can even get to the Holy Trinity and how basically they mimic science in regards to that Holy Trinity. When you start studying the atom, and you got the proton, neutron, the electron, that's the Holy Trinity in the science world. So like I said, we tend to argue about a lot of things, but we are really legit saying the same thing. So even when you look at it at a scientific level, man, you even got that Holy Trinity on a scientific level. And then when you break down the things that make up the protons and electrons, man, you start getting quarks and leptons. How many quarks and leptons do we have? 6 of each. What's 6 plus 6? You got 12. Look in the Bible. What do you have? 12 disciples. You got the 12 tribes. You can study that on a scientific level. You can study that on a scientific level. So the science even confirms what we are saying. The science even confirms what we are saying. And then you have a lot of creation stories that existed back in the day when they talked about the creator or this God that I'm referring to. And they always refer to him as him or he and things of that nature as man. So they got a lot of creation stories that exist back in the day when they talk about, and I think the ancient Egyptians got a story that's similar to this, but they talk about how God originally was a luminous body, but that was incorrect. So that caused the destruction of basically the universe. So they wasn't able to really construct the universe because of the light causing destruction. So what did this luminous body have to do? It had to wrap itself in blackness in order to create the universe. So that luminous light body wasn't necessarily conducive to creating the universe. Now, of course, this is not something that we taking literal here, but we just breaking down the science and we breaking down these old creation stories. So we understand that this light luminous body wasn't conducive, wasn't compatible to being able to create the universe. So this luminous body, this intelligence had to wrap itself in blackness. The blackness that was surrounding it within the universe, it had to surround itself. It had to wrap itself in this blackness in order for the universe to be created in the first place. So you got a lot of creation stories that start off that way. So a lot of people don't even understand that. Then when you break down the atom, then again, like I've said about Genesis, you won't even get deeper than that. And of course, you already know when you look at the creation story, you got Adam and Eve. No coincidence there. Even when you start studying the Egyptian God, you got Adam there. Atum, however you want to say it, Atum. You got that Adam. So you got on the scientific level, you got the atom. Then the Egyptian God, you got Adam. You got Adam, and we know that Adam was a black man. This is a fact. So we know that you got that Atum, Atum, and then you got Adam in the Bible. Not a coincidence. McAllen, peace. What's going on to you? What's going on with you? Zucko, you say, where do I get blackness from? The essence of black? Basically, what I'm talking about, because it's the trick knowledge. So a lot of times y'all have heard me not like the term colored people in regards to referencing people that look like me, people that look like you. That's incorrect. White people are actually the colored people. They are the ones that turn color. Like they turn different colors. Those are colored people. But they've taught us that we are the colored people. That's actually incorrect. We more so original people. And within that original spectrum, like I said, you have black, brown, you have yellow, you have red. Black and brown being the most dominant there. So when we break down what I mean by blackness being an essence, because obviously, like I said, when you look at my pigmentation, you have the color brown. Obviously, we brown. So when you look at your pigmentation, obviously it's not black. So you have a lot of people, y'all know the Moors that's out here. We have a lot of people that say, all right, when I say I'm black, or when I say black people, they say we are not the same color as that color in the crayon box. So when we talk about black, again, we're not talking about a color. All colors come from that blackness. So blackness is not necessarily a color because it contains all colors. It contains all life. from that blackness, you get all colors of the spectrum. So that's what I mean about blackness not necessarily being a color, it being an essence. Without that blackness, you don't have any colors, because all the colors emanate, come from that blackness. That's what I mean about it more so being an essence, opposed to like a color. So a lot of times, like I said, people take it literal as if I'm referring to black people like the color of their skin or their pigmentation. No, it's an essence, because without that black, you can't even have white. You can't have brown. You can't have red. You can't have yellow. Without the blackness, you have none of that. You have none of that. So that's what I mean about it being an essence. That's the essence of all life, is blackness. Without that blackness, like I said, what do you have? And this even goes deeper on a scientific level, because everything had to emerge from that darkness, from that blackness. All life had to emerge from that blackness. Even when you are in the womb of the black woman, that's darkness. That's dark. That's that blackness. You emerging from that blackness. So we can even look at it on that level. So when you in that womb, it's dark. So then when you get that light, when you hit that light, boom, start crying. You can't handle that light because you was in that darkness. You was in that darkness. You was basically in that darkness forming yourself. You was forming yourself, being self-created type deal. And that's another part of the science when they talk about the atom being self-created. So like I said, this can get deep, but you was in that womb of that black woman forming yourself. But we all emerge from that blackness. We all emerge, whether we talking about the universe or whether we talking from the womb of that black woman, it's all blackness. We emerging from that blackness. Yeah, Zucko, most definitely. It's an essence. Yeah, Redbird. And that's what that's the term we use, original people. Original people. But like I said, man, when we talking about God, even if we want to talk about it on the in a biblical sense, and y'all hear me talking about a mystery God. And y'all know what the word mystery means. Basically, that's unknown. So when we talk about a mystery God, that's a God that's unknown to the people. So again, we tell people all the time that God is not a mystery, meaning God is not unknown. God is within you. But to some, God is a mystery because we don't know ourselves. So when you lack knowledge of yourself, God is a mystery. God is unknown because you lack knowledge of yourself. When you attain that knowledge of self, God is no longer a mystery. So the only time that God is a mystery is when you lack knowledge of yourself. When you become in tune with yourself, when you gain that knowledge of self, God is no longer a mystery. God is no longer a mystery. So when we talk about mystery God, that's you being a mystery to yourself. That's you being unknown to yourself. That's what's meant by that. Because we're not praising anything that's outside of ourselves. We're not doing that. We not doing that. When we trace history, and we haven't even gotten to that point yet, but when we trace history, y'all gonna see that every God was a black man. Every God was of blackness. Even the Greeks, when you had Zeus, he was black originally. So the Greeks were worshiping a black God, a black man. So we can even get deep, man. We could just start really tracing it like that, man. They were who was it? The Persians. They were also worshiping a black man, a black God. Because again, you got to understand what's being said here. They was traveling. They was being educated by our ancestors. Our ancestors was letting them know that God is a black man. So they was just mimicking what they saw until they realized how powerless it was really making them. Then they had to create God in their image. So again, when you start breaking down God and things of that nature. So if we look at it in a sense like if we go to the Bible and it's a chapter, I think it's John 4:24, they talk about God being a spirit. See, another term that y'all will hear me use is spooky. See, we don't deal with spookism. We don't deal with spooky things. So when you hear what a spirit is, a lot of people make a spirit out to be something that's spooky. But when we really break down, we get down to the etymology of spirit. That basically just means breath. That basically just means air. So again, a spirit is not necessarily something that's spooky. When we break that down, you got breath, you got air. That's all that spirit is. That's all that spirit is. And then when we break it down even a little bit more deeper than that, we're going to get down to like energy. Basically, that being what a spirit is. Oh, Zucko, man, no, most definitely, man, most definitely. All you gotta do is just hit me up. Just hit me up, man. We can start that process whenever. Oh yeah, Nick, yeah. And then, like I said, even with the even with the name Jesus, man, like we already know and understand about the letter J, so we already know that that's the incorrect name. But like I said, man, we can get deep. We can get deep. Like I said, this is a topic. This is something that I could talk about for hours, because like I said, when I was coming into consciousness, when I was coming into knowledge of self, this is something that I really had to study and come to grips with. This is something that I really had to study and come to grips with. But like I said, when we start talking about spirit and things of that nature, that's not something that we necessarily have to make spooky. Again, that's breath, air, boom. That's all that it is. That's all that it is. D, I don't know if you on Instagram, but all you got to do basically is just hit me up on like Instagram or Facebook, and then I'll probably just shoot y'all my phone number, man. I got another brother, Tryon, that's usually on here, man. I just gave him my cell phone number, man. We be chopping it up that way. So if you hit me up on one of those platforms, man, Instagram, Facebook, just message me, and I'll more than likely just give you my cell number, man. Then we could just chop it up that way. So again, when we start talking about like spirit, air, and things of that nature, like I said, man, just energy is at the root of all of that. So again, another thing that we tend to separate is spirit and matter. They are really one and the same. They are two manifestations from the same reality, or from the same one reality. So that's what I meant by our ancestors. They didn't necessarily separate man from God. That's basically not separating spirit from matter. And that's what we tend to do. We separate the two. They are really one and the same, two manifestations from the same one reality, and that one reality basically being energy. So at the end of the day, we don't need to separate spirit from matter. We don't need to separate God from man. Why do we do that? That's something that we have been taught to do. That's something that they did intentionally to strip the power from us. Music Innovator, appreciate that donation. I'm telling you now, I didn't got my win now. So I'm about to go deep into the bag, man. Some of the stuff that, like I said, I've been holding out. But I'm about to get real, man. Some of the stuff that got my Facebook page shut down. So it is what it is. It is what it is. If y'all see my page missing one day, y'all know what then happened. But we gonna get this information now. We're not gonna sit on it anymore. I was strategic with how I did this, man. So I was gonna pimp the system. But now I'm gonna go ahead and put that information out there. And I'm gonna tell you one thing before I dive into some more science. It's fixed now on Amazon, man. But the other day, the way that I was normally checking for my book, you was able to type in my name, Eric Bell, and then type in Inner Mass. Man, the book had vanished. Like, you couldn't even look up my book by typing in my first and last name and Inner Mass, the name of the book. That had vanished, but now it's back on there. But see, that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, Amazon was basically trying to hide my book. Like, I had typed in my first and last name and Inner Mass, which I had been doing since the book has been released, man, just to kind of check the reviews. And I was able to pull up the book. Then I did it the other day. Book wasn't on there. Then I made a post about it. And then next thing you know, now when you type it in, the book comes up. So that's trick knowledge, man. If I would have never peeped that, no telling if that book would have resurfaced again. But it wasn't until after I made the post, then now I type it in and now I'm able to see the book. But before I had made that post, man, I typed it in because I wanted to just check the reviews on to see if anybody left some reviews. I typed it in, man, and it was masked, like literally. The face mask that we wear, like the mask that we wear, that's all that was coming up. And it was like one book called Bell's Palsy. That book was coming up along with just a ton of masks. So I said, okay, here we go. But I said something on Facebook, and then next thing you know, now I'm able to find the book. So we got to start worrying about stuff like that. So back to what I was talking about when I was talking about basically spirit and all that good stuff. Like I said, spirit and soul are things that we tend to make spooky, and it's really not that deep. When we talk about spirit and soul, basically your soul, that's your breath, that's your air, like that's the breath. It's your breath. That's air. It's basically all that is. So that's really not something that we have to make spooky. Like, it's real simple. You can break this stuff down scientifically. You can break this stuff down scientifically. So when we start talking about soul, spirit, again, on a scientific level, all we talking about is energy. That's all we talking about. That's all we talking about. We literally saying the same thing, but again, it causes the conflict because of the division. So again, you saying soul, spirit, and I'm simply saying energy. But when I say energy, you making it seem like it's not the same thing as a spirit, as soul. Like, that's all energy. It's really all manifestations of the mind. All of that is manifestations of the mind. Without the mind, you're not able to see any of this. So all of it is manifestations of the mind. But at the end of the day, when you start talking about your soul, when you start talking about spirit, all energy. So people a lot of times wonder why I don't like to use those words, spirit, soul, because I just use energy. So at the end of the day, both of those words are simply energy. So you won't hear me, you never will hear me talk about souls, and you never will hear me talking about spirit, because I'm going to say energy every time. Beautiful Goddess Keys, most definitely. And we ain't even got to the duality of the situation. We ain't even got to the duality, which you just basically touched on. But we haven't even gotten to that duality. When we start talking about, and even with it being good and evil, again, them manifestations of the mind, because what's good to me can be evil to you. So again, it's all relative to the individual. It's all relative to the culture. Air view. And then one of the ways that I keep up my energy, I got the locks. So one of the reasons why I got the locks, and I got a book right here, man, the Rastafarians. It's something that I'm reading right now. Book called The Rastafarians. It's by Leonard Barrett Sr. So it's a peaceful book, man. This book breaks down the history of the Rastafarians. And a lot of times when you bring up the Rastafarians, the only two things that tend to come up are weed and locks. But people don't understand the science behind the ideology of the Rastas. People don't understand that basically when people hear what the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth say, y'all don't understand that the Rastas and the way that they view the white man, the way that they view white folks. Come on now. I'm gonna just read a few things that I highlighted about the ideology of the Rastas, man, just in case people didn't forgot or people don't know. Listen, a black god to the Rastafarians is of the greatest importance because blackness is synonymous with holiness. This is coming from the Rastafarians. Like, this is the Rastafarians. So again, they got us wearing black to funerals, got us wearing white to weddings, got us viewing white as something that's holy and black is something that's demonic. Like, y'all know black is associated with demonic. You got it when you wear black and things of that nature. See, that's trick knowledge, man. That's everything in reverse. So we can even get deeper. Just like they told us north is up and south is down. That's actually incorrect in regards to how our ancestors saw it. But then again, that's another topic. But they didn't reverse everything on us, and that's that trick knowledge. They done made us think and believe that white is holy and black is gothic and demonic, when really it is the actual reverse. But that's what the Rastafarians told you. The Rastafarians told you a black god to the Rastafarians is of the greatest importance because blackness is synonymous with holiness. Your blackness, your essence is synonymous with holiness. But they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that. They know that. They know that. Listen, and here goes another highlight from this book. The white's god is actually the devil, the instigator of all evils that have come upon the world, the god of hate, blood, oppression, and war. The black god is a god of peace and love. I'm gonna read that again. This is from the Rastafarians. You get mad at what I'm saying? Talk to the Rastafarians. But this is from the Rastafarians. This is not from me, although I actually rock with what's being read here. But this is from the Rastafarians. The white's god is actually the devil, the instigator. Come on now, just check history and see how this coincides with what's being said here. The instigator I mean, we can study history and prove that the instigator of all evils that have come upon the world, the God of hate, blood, oppression, and war. The black God is a God of peace and love. We could just do the knowledge to that. We can do the knowledge to history and we can confirm this particular statement. Easy. Let me see if I got anything. Let me see if I got anything else that I want to read that comes from this particular book, man. I might just keep it simple here. I might just keep it simple and stop, man, before I start really going in. But those are some highlights from this particular book. Like I said, that's the ideology from the Rastafarians. Again, Rastafarians, not my ideology, but again, I rock with what I read. But this stuff is nothing new under the sun. They didn't just make up that ideology. You got to understand that. They didn't just make up this ideology. This is something that always existed. I got another book by J.A. Rogers that lets you know the Ethiopians view things the same way. And this was way back in the day. The Ethiopians, the way that they viewed the world was the white man was the devil in their eyes. This is the Ethiopians long time ago, before we was even thought of. The Ethiopians, that's how they viewed it. So again, a lot of people get mad at some of this stuff, man. A lot of people get mad when this type of conversation is brought up. But how you getting mad with history? This ain't something that was just made up yesterday. This is not something that was just made up 100 years ago. This stuff been in existence. And you can't get mad if you white and you get offended by it, you get emotional. You can't be mad at your history. Your history proves, validates what's being said. Hence why the people came to the conclusion that they came to. The only reason that a person will write something like this is because of the experience that they underwent in dealing with said people. This is what led to this type of ideology. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these ideologies that we have that's letting you know the wickedness of the white man is in defense of how we were treated by these people. So it was like, man, we came across these people, we trusted these people because we didn't believe that a people could be so wicked, and then they proved us wrong. So therefore this ideology was created because white people didn't always exist with us. Y'all are fairly new if we want to get to the science of it. But when we came into contact with y'all showed like this is what came out of the experience, these ideologies. We dealt with y'all, we let y'all in, and this is how y'all acted naturally. So this is what led to the creation of these ideologies. That's not me speaking it. That's not Elijah Muhammad letting you know. That's not the Rastafarians. That's history. History. If I had to write history and I had to talk about my interactions with, I would write the same things. I would write the same thing based off of my experience. That's why they had to turn us against one another. So basically, when we rewrite history, we are going to rewrite it incorrectly. But somebody such as myself that's able to remove myself from the matrix and understand what they are doing to us, that divide and conquer, when I'm able to step back and understand that, then I'm able to look at who the true enemy actually is. I'm Nipping and Goldie. Peace. What's going on? Terenzo, most definitely. Oh, D, man, get that. Hey, y'all already know I got a mini library. Century, and again, another thing that I was studying with Rastafarianism is basically that's where I got like Ethiopianism from. Like that's basically the foundation of their ideologies, Ethiopianism, and a lot of people don't even know that. So, and I got several books. A lot of people, we talk about Egypt, but we need to really be studying Ethiopia. But a lot of times we overly focused on Egypt. But man, I started doing the knowledge to Ethiopia, and that's when I started to open my eyes. That's what started to open my eyes a lot. So a lot of times we just overly focus on Egypt. Matter of fact, you can just study Africa as a whole. You're gonna come across a bunch of gems, a bunch of powerful societies, and whatever the case may be. But hey, it's a lot bigger than Egypt. They want us to overly focus on Egypt because they trying to take credit for Egypt. Y'all look at Egypt now, then you're not seeing the original inhabitants because of it being colonized. So they literally try to take credit for Egypt. They trying to make it seem like nothing black came out of Egypt. Nothing original came out of Egypt. They trying to take credit for Egypt, hence why they want us to overly focus on Egypt right now so they can take credit. So they slowly trying to rewrite their history in regards to Egypt. So that's why we got to continue to actually teach the truth in regards to Egypt, because they are trying to take credit for it. So I understand why we overly focus on Egypt, because again, they trying to whitewash Egypt. They trying to whitewash Egypt to a T. So they trying to say, all right, if y'all gonna say everything started from Egypt, then we gonna whitewash it. So if y'all saying everything started from Egypt, then when we look at Egypt, we don't see a lot of y'all. Well, that's because y'all colonized it, man. That's because y'all came over there. Y'all was wicked by nature. And we can talk about the Greeks, we can talk about the Arabs, but y'all all, the Persians, y'all all came over there. Y'all tampered with the original inhabitants of it. Y'all started intermixing and all that nonsense, and y'all wiped out the original inhabitants of that particular part of the world. So that's what happened. That's why you don't see the original inhabitants of Egypt. That's why when you look at Egypt, you start to see Arabs and whatnot. You start to see white folks and whatnot. So we know the science behind that, but they don't want you to know that science because they want to take the credit for Egypt. So they can say, all right, everything came out of Egypt. Well, look at Egypt now. Look who exists over there now. Look who's predominantly over there now. So we already know the trick knowledge that's going on over there. Yeah, Century, man. Whoo. And again, we can talk about them pyramids, man, because a lot of people, we overly focus on that Great Pyramid of Giza. Like I said, man, our history is so rich. Whoo, it's crazy. Our history is so rich. Our history is ridiculously rich, but we overly focus on Egypt, even like the Great Pyramids of Giza. Man, it was pyramids before that. Oh, Evan King, man, they didn't try to take credit for boxing. They didn't try to take credit for martial arts. Man, I mean, they didn't try to take credit for any and everything, man. We already know good and well where they got most of that stuff from. We know good and well. We know good and well, man. They try to take credit for everything. Even rock and roll on a musical sense. They didn't try to take credit for rock and roll. What we got, like Chuck Berry? I mean, come on, man. They got rock and roll from us. Got Little Richard, man. We invented the rock and roll, not them. So we invented the rock and roll. They try to take credit for the rock and roll, man. Like we can't have nothing. Like I said, about 200 years from now, and I've said this, and a lot of people laughed at me and think it's funny when I say it, but it's an actual fact. This is an actual fact because they did this with a lot of people in history. 200 years from now, a lot of the people that I'm talking about, look at the people on this wall right here. Don't be surprised if 200 years from now, they're a little bit lighter. And I said, don't be surprised if we're going to be here. But 200 years from now, Marcus Garvey, Muhammad Ali, man, they're going to be a lot lighter. They're going to be a lot lighter to the point where they looking like they white. Malcolm X, MLK, these going to be some white folks 200 years from now. And they have done this with a lot of historical figures. They whitewashed them. They made them white. And he really wasn't white. So this gonna continue to happen. It's gonna continue to happen, man. The image gonna get lighter and lighter and lighter to the point where it's like it's a white person. 200 years from now, Muhammad Ali gonna be white. Man, he was white. Because like I said, man, they rewriting that history. They rewriting that history. But again, man, just like I said, this is a topic, man. I dive into this topic. I could take so many different avenues with this particular topic. I'm telling you, we're gonna have white Muhammad Ali. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be all bad. It's gonna be a white Muhammad Ali. They're gonna talk about Muhammad Ali gonna be white, and it's gonna be sad. They're gonna talk about Tupac. Mess around, Tupac be white. But when we going back into the topic of God, basically, and like I talked about in regards to matter and spirit and how our ancestors didn't separate the two, but we tend to do that. We tend to separate those two. We tend to make spirit and matter separate when really they are one and the same. So that's one thing that we need to stop doing. That's when you start to really realize God is within you, and you don't necessarily need to seek anything outside of yourself in regards to any type of transcendental supreme being. That supreme being is right within you. Look in the mirror, you see that supreme being. That supreme being is you. That supreme being is not some spirit that exists not without you, but outside of you, that's controlling everything. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. And again, like I said, our ancestors, they knew that. So even when you look at ancient cultures, I mentioned the Greeks, I mentioned the Persians, how they worship black God, black male, even the Hindu. When we talk about Brahma, the Brahmin, and the original name for that, then like black swan. So all of this stuff, like even when you do like Krishna, you're gonna go back to blackness, is going to be associated with something that's black. So all of these ancient gods can be associated with blackness. All of these ancient gods can be associated with blackness. But like I said, you go back and check the Hindu male god, and you can just trace the origins of where that name comes from. You're gonna get black swan. You're gonna get black swan. You're gonna get, it's representing something that's black, black male, blackness, black swan. Like it's gonna all go back to something that's black. And again, they have told you that black is something that you should associate with evil. Then why is it that all of these ancient cultures associated blackness with God? So if God is something that is associated with evil, then why were all of these gods depicted in blackness? That's a holy color to me. That's something that's holy. That's a holy pigmentation. That's a powerful essence. And we're talking about all these ancient cultures. When they painted their God, when they created God in their image, black. So why is that a color that is associated with something that's negative? It is not. It is not. So we gotta eliminate that from our minds. Evan King, like I said, the reason why we overly focus on Egypt right now is because they basically trying to take credit for Egypt. So the white folks, the Arabs, and all that, they trying to take credit for Egypt. So one of the reasons why we are overly focusing on it is because they trying to take credit for it. They trying to take credit for it, and that's forcing us to overly focus on it. Whether us trying to prove that that's incorrect, which is easy to do, or whether it's just us being inquisitive, like, man, and when I look at Egypt, I do see a bunch of Arabs. I do see a bunch of white folks. I don't necessarily see anybody that looks like me. So it's creating that curiosity. So that's one of the reasons why we overly focus on Egypt, because again, they terribly colonized Egypt, and they really trying to take credit for it. They trying to whitewash Egypt, and they doing a pretty good job, to the point where it got us questioning our origins when they telling us everything originated out of Egypt and all of that. And then when you look over there, you really don't see a bunch of us over there. That was by design. So that's why we overly focused on it, because if we focused on any other part of Africa, then the truth would be really easy to reveal. Yeah, we ain't even gonna get into the Central and West. Like they don't want us focusing on that. They don't want us focusing on that, because again, like I said, we focus on that, then it's gonna be way too easy to show and prove like who we are. So when they start talking about West Africa and Central Africa, they make those places appear as if they were filled with heathens, filled with savages. So when they start talking about those places in history, I'm talking about when they talk about it, then they depict those places in a very negative light. But when you really do the knowledge to West Africa and Central Africa, again, you about to start studying greatness. You about to start studying power. That's what you really will study. But when they start trying to teach you about West Africa and Central Africa, they gonna talk about heathens. They're gonna talk about savages. That's what they're gonna talk about. But I say, man, study Africa as a whole. Study Africa as a whole. Study every part of Africa, and you're gonna come across a ton of interesting cultures. D, I don't know if we're gonna ever get to that point in my lifetime. I would love to see it, but they got us so bad with this divide and conquer with the Willie Lynch. I don't know if we're gonna get over that hurdle in my lifetime. Like, just simple, like I said, even just breaking down religion and then relating it to science. Like, I've been in several conversations with Christians, with Muslims, and I'm trying to convince them that literally We are all saying, well, we are saying similar things. We just using different words. But listen, if you're not referring to God by the name that they refer to God as, it's a problem. We can literally be saying like some of the same things, but since I'm using a different word, then, oh, I'm a pagan, or I'm a heathen, or you need to pray for me. But it's like we saying the same things, just using different words. Like you talking about a spirit and I'm talking about energy. But since I'm talking about energy and not using the word spirit, it's a problem. That shouldn't create a problem, but it does though. So like I said, man, they got us big time with these religions, man. They got us. They got us, man. Like religion, man. The way that they fabricated religion, man. I'm about to get to a verse, man, that will show and prove some things about how they altered the Bible to basically benefit them. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, man. The Bible has definitely been tampered with and altered. I mean, that's just an actual fact. I mean, that should be common knowledge right now. But they got us good with these religions, man. And like I said, that's one of the best ways to control black folks, man, that religion. And they got us. They got us with it. They got us hard with it, man. They got us hard like that. I feel like that's one of the first things, like that's our biggest hurdle. Like we literally got to jump over the hurdle of religion as black people. I mean, too many black people. Even when you go to the colonized countries in Africa, man, pictures of white Jesus everywhere. Like, man, we ain't as far advanced as we think. We ain't as far ahead as we think. We not, man. I mean, you can go into your everyday average church, black church or black household, you will still see that white image of Jesus. You will still see it. You will still see these white angels dressed in all this white. Like you will still see those images. So we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go in regards to breaking that hold. Again, I'm not mad at the white people for I'm not mad at the white people for painting Jesus in their image, even though it's a lie. I'm not mad at the white folks for painting God in their image. I mean, that's basically what our ancestors was doing. They was like, if it's a supreme being, obviously he's going to look like us. So that's all that they are doing. But we have got to stop gravitating towards their religion. There's plenty of religions, plenty of cultures, plenty of ways of life, plenty of ways to view the world through a black lens that will benefit you more than viewing it through the white lens. And then you get to the whole thing of color not mattering. Well, if color doesn't matter, then why do you have an image of white Jesus up in your house? If color doesn't matter, then why is that image you have of Jesus white? If color didn't matter, then why even have an image of him at all if color didn't matter? What's the point of having any type of image of him if color doesn't matter? Color does matter, because in order to create the image, you got to add color to the image. You got to add something to that image. So again, they try to tell you color doesn't matter when you start speaking the truth, because they get emotional, because they clinging to that white Jesus. So when you tell them, hey, no, that wasn't that. If he existed, then he looked like you. He looked like, and then they try to tell, color doesn't matter. Color doesn't matter, because that's guilty. The truth hurts the guilty. So now they feeling guilty for having that white Jesus up. So now they get defensive and tell you color doesn't matter, when at the end of the day, the person that made that image, color mattered to them. Hence why they made the image white. So again, we got to stop utilizing that, man. Color does matter. You don't see color type deal. Come on now. A lot of black brothers out here. A lot of black brothers out here try to tell me they don't see color, but prefer white women. What do you see then? So like, obviously you got a preference. So you do see color because you prefer the white woman, and vice versa. If you a black woman, you prefer to date white men. You can't tell me color doesn't matter. That doesn't even make any sense. Don't make any sense. If you finna tell me color doesn't matter, but you prefer to date white women, white men, then it matters. What you see matters. So like, that doesn't make any sense. And for the most part, the people that tell me that's exactly what they do. They have a preference, but they try to tell me color doesn't matter to justify their preference. Man, just say you prefer to date white women. You prefer to date white men. Just leave it at that. Don't tell me color doesn't matter. Don't start spewing out that type of rhetoric, because it's a lie, because you have a preference, and that preference is not black, brown, red, yellow. It is white. So color does matter. Appearance does matter. What you see does matter. century. I'm glad you talked about that because they talked about this in the Rastafarian book, and basically just how we kind of gravitated towards that religion or towards those religions basically because of our so-called spiritual nature. And then we took some of those religions. Of course, we not living that way now, but we took some of these religions and we added the African twist or African spin to it. So we took Christianity and we added that African twist to it. You may see that in some cases today. You may still see some people that live by that, but then you probably won't see it for the most part. But we took some of those religions like Catholicism and Christianity and Protestantism, and we took them, we gravitated towards them because we are that spiritual people, the people that they enslaved, and we added our twist to it. We added that African spin to it. We added that African spirituality to it. Yeah, I'm nipping and Goldie. It most definitely does. And again, sometimes separation is cool. Sometimes division is cool. That's part of mathematics. But we can't allow that division to get into the way of like the overall mission. And that's what it tends to do. But like I said, man, division is useful. That's a part of mathematics. That's the language of the universe. So we're going to have some division within this universe, but we got to be able to look beyond that. And that's our problem. We look at the division as a problem. So I'm divided. So you have a different perspective to me. So therefore it's a problem. We're not able to look at the division as something that's being beautiful, like variety, diversity. We're not looking at it in that sense. We're looking at it as something that is wicked, evil. Since you don't view the world the way that I view the world, we have a problem. Now that's variety. I don't want everybody to view the world the way that I view the world. But if you finna look at the way that I view the world and you finna call me evil, you finna call me a heathen, and you don't have any type of truth to stand on, any type of information to present to the table to confirm what it is that you so-called believe in, then now we have a problem. Oh, D. And like I said, we can, oh man, that conversation. Woo, man, that conversation, sometimes I don't even know where to start. Like I said, I can always vent about my experiences with religion. They will literally make you feel as if you are literally a demon by simply asking questions. Like you can be the most peaceful person on the planet, but they will make you feel as if you are a demon because you don't believe in their religion. They got to pray for you. Meanwhile, they subscribe to the religion and they are the most heathenish. Like they are the total opposite of what their religion is telling them they should do. But you are the heathen. You are the bad guy. You are the one that they need to pray for. I literally asked a question to somebody that was, I think they was a Christian, but I had mentioned the Buddhist. I was like, on the surface, the Buddhists appear to be very peaceful people. So I said, all right, if that's my way of life, if I just embrace peace, if I value peace and prioritize peace, I meditate, I don't pray. I don't believe in the mystery God. I subscribe to the philosophies of the Buddha. Like if that's my way of life and it's not harming anybody. I asked this person, would I still burn for eternity, aka go to hell? And that person told me yes. So I said, man, if I dedicate my life to peace, if I strive for peace, if I try to be as peaceful as possible, as righteous as possible, I cause no harm to anyone, not even an animal, nothing. I'm still subjected to burn for eternity simply because I'm not subscribing to your religion. Listen how that sounds. That makes absolutely no sense. And that was like the nail in the coffin for me. Once that person said that, I was like, this stuff is crazy. Like you cannot seriously believe that. Then I asked the question. And this is the question that I have literally never received an answer to that made any type of sense. But I talked about you got a time that's called BC. Okay. So you got before Christ. So again, the reason why I bring up BC is because a lot of people talk about Jesus, accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior. So I said, so the people that existed BC before there was a Christ, are they penalized because they didn't accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior because they didn't know a Jesus? They didn't know Jesus. They existed before Jesus. So obviously they wasn't able to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior because they existed before there was a Jesus. So make sense. The world didn't just start with a Jesus. There was a time period before there was a Jesus. Then you got to ask yourself, what were these people believing in? So then we start bringing up the Christ-like figures that preceded Christ. And this is I want to segue into this. So then when you start talking about BC, then we say, okay, who were the people worshiping before there was a Christ? Then you start bringing up these names. You start bringing up the people, the Christ-like figures, basically where they got Christ from. They mimic these other figures. We can go back to Krishna. We can go back to Horus. We can go back to all of these figures. But this is where they got the story from, like the story about Jesus from all these figures that preceded him. But I asked another person. I said, okay. So I said the people that were worshiping these other figures as Jesus before Jesus, what happens to them? Again, this person proceeded to tell me that they were worshiping a false idol. They were worshiping false idols. I said, wow. So they was penalized because they were born at a particular point in time. That makes no type of sense. So you gonna penalize the people because they were born before Christ. Make that make any type of sense. Make that make any type of sense. And D, like, man, again, when people talk about even with the 10 Commandments and stuff like that, like you got what's known as, you may know them as the 42 negative confessions. That goes back to Egypt. Then you got the Babylonians. What is it? The Code of Hammurabi. Like we got all type of like principles letting us know that how we should live that precede the 10 Commandments, that precede Moses giving us the 10 Commandments. Like again, we can go back to the laws of Ma'at, man, 42 negative confessions, and we can go back to the Code of Hammurabi. Like we got a bunch of morals, we got a bunch of principles, bunch of commandments, bunch of rules and regulations and laws that were laid down that precede the commandments. Oh, I'm nipping and Goldie. And even with that, with the Virgin Mother, basically, once again, we looking at kind of science, and we looking at basically what I was talking about before I started getting into this whole spiel. When we start talking about everything coming from that atom, when we start looking from how life emerged from that particular atom, and then even if you start studying, basically you can study the Nation of Islam, but this correlates with science. Basically what he was talking about the triple stage of darkness, the atom coming from that triple stage of darkness, and God being self-created. That's basically what we talking about in regards to that's what they were talking about in regards to, or in reference to, this Virgin Mother. That's basically looking at it at a scientific level, that atom being self-created out of the womb of Mother Nature. So that's what that's symbolic to. That atom, what they would call being self-created. And it's just the terminology that they utilize, that atom being self-created, everything emerging from that atom that existed within the womb of Mother Nature. So that's where that virgin mother, virgin birth comes from. That comes from that atom when it cracked, and life coming from that atom, but that atom existed within the womb of the universe, within the womb of Mother Nature. So that's where all of that stuff is coming from. But they, again, wouldn't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you that. They just want to leave it as a mystery. They just want to leave it as a mystery because we like mysteries. So they don't want to break it down where they got it from. McAllen, you already know, like I said, man, it's some things that I know for a fact when I start to hit on, and they may not. You know what? They may not, but I know for a fact, man, because a lot of things that I talked about back in the day, man, just caused a lot of controversy, man. Even when I talk about the proper way to eat, that causes controversy because, you know, a lot of these industries, they got a lot of power. So they don't want me talking about swine being bad for you. They don't want me to talk about meat being bad for you. They don't want to talk about dairy being bad for you. You know how many of our holistic practitioners have come up missing and have been killed. So again, we already know that's even dangerous. That's even dangerous. That's why I say that people that put their life on the line, because that's literally what you're doing when you start to speak this truth. You putting your life on the line. So I feel like we should support the people that do that a lot more. When you make it your life mission, when you make it your purpose to speak this type of truth, you putting your life on the line, man. A lot of doors are going to close on you. A lot of doors are going to close on you. You will not have a lot of opportunities. You will not come across a lot of opportunities because, again, ain't nothing new under the sun. They watching what they say. Big Brother is watching. They seeing what's being posted. They seeing what you posting. So again, I feel like we gotta protect and we gotta support a lot of these people a lot more. So that's why anytime that it's like a holistic practitioner, man, that I come across, man, I try to support them. I try to support them because I know how rough it is. I know that you putting your life on the line. I know that they don't want this type of product to be out. I know they don't want this type of information to be out. So when I see that that's what you pushing, I got to support that. I got to make sure you stay afloat because you are necessary for my people. So I can't let them get rid of you. But a lot of our people that have put out this information, a lot of them died broke. A lot of them died penniless. And that's sad. A lot of our prominent Black scholars, they had to die penniless. They had to die broke. These should be some of the wealthiest people on the planet, man. The people that's dedicating their lives to teaching us the correct history, teaching us the correct history about ourselves, about our people. Those should be some of the wealthiest people on this planet. And we wonder why these children out here striving to do what's wrong and what's destructive, because they out here chasing the money. It ain't no money to be made in their eyes by teaching this truth, by getting this information, by teaching this information. They trying to go where the money is at. So we got to show and prove to them that, hey, it's money in getting this information and teaching it to your people. It's money in having this information. It's money in having knowledge itself, but they not seeing that. So we got to flip the script and we got to show them that it's money to be made in having knowledge of yourself. So I'm not encouraging people to get this knowledge of yourself and be broke. Because again, we got families to feed. So we got to earn a living. We got to earn a living, man. We in America, so we got to earn a living, man. That's no way around that. We got to earn that living. So we got to teach people how to have this knowledge of self, how to have this information, and how you can still eat and earn your living and earn a nice living by doing that. But the only way that we can do that is by supporting these type of platforms to where these people and these brothers and these sisters are speaking that truth or putting out their products that we know the establishment don't want them to put out and don't want out here. Oh, Dominique, man, what's going on with you, my brother? Oh, D, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. But at the same time, I still gotta look at it from the outside looking in and just how sad that is. Because, man, that's again, we'll wonder why children look at it and be like, man, look at how they died. They died penniless. So we gotta flip the script, because some of the stuff that we complain about and we protest against, these people that died broke, they gave us the blueprint. They gave us the answers, but we didn't support them. So a lot of the things that we sit and we cry about and we protest against and we fighting against, plenty of our ancestors gave us the answers in book form. We just gotta buy the book. Just think about it. I mean, just think about it. It's simple math, and it's light math. If a brother came out and wrote a book, $20 for the book. If just 1,000 people bought this book for $20, that's 20,000. And again, I'm talking about a book that, of course, is like accurate, giving you the proper information, giving you that knowledge of self, or giving you the dietary information that you need to take your health to the next level, whatever the case may be. I'm talking about something solid, not these scammers out here, but I'm talking about a solid brother or a solid sister that dedicated their life to do the research, study, and they gave you this book, $20, 1,000 people. That's light. 1,000 people, you just make 20,000 off of that. You put out several books, you easily hit 6 figures. But we not supporting that. We looking at it like, oh man, $20 for this book. I ain't paying $20 for this book. This book ain't got nothing but 100 pages. I ain't paying $20 from it. Instead of looking at it like it's an investment, instead of looking at it like maybe it's a donation, we looking at it the wrong way. I ain't paying $20 for a book, man. If I got the $20 to spare, which I'm going to eventually have the $20 to spare, I'm going to support. I'm going to buy that book because I know the time that it takes to write a book. The book I have for purchase is $5.99. It took me some months to just get that complete. So I know the time that it would take to write something 100, 150, 200 pages. That's a lot of time for us to be crying about. Like if you feel like you ain't got $20 to support that. And like I said, again, not the scammers out here, but the ones that's actually giving us accurate information, decent information. We got to know and we got to understand why they charging the 20, because again, they striving to earn a living. They striving to earn a living. This is the work that they are doing. So it should be, it should be simple, man. Even if it's $5, 1,000 people, $5, 5,000 seem light, but if you constantly putting out that work, you should be able to eat just off of that. And I'm keeping the number at 1,000. I'm keeping the number at 1,000, man. These people that have been putting their life on the line, they got way more people than 1,000 rocking with them. But I'm just saying, if they had a hardcore 1,000, they should be able to earn a living. But again, we don't be supporting like we should. We don't be supporting like we should. We support that ignorance. Oh, Century, man, I spent some good money on the book. I definitely have spent over 100 on books. And like I said, when we go to college, we ain't got no problem spending over $100 on those textbooks. But then in the same breath, if a black man wrote a book like Amos Wilson, The Blueprint to Black Power, and it's 600, 700 pages, we don't even want to spend $15 on that book. But we'll tell these kids to go to college and the books cost $160, $200, and we gonna give them the money to buy that. And that book ain't teaching you nothing that's correct. So that's sick. Amos Wilson, you follow that Blueprint to Black Power, man, you may be liberated. But we ain't gonna give him $15 for 700 pages, 700 plus pages. But we gonna get a school system, these colleges, we gonna give them all that tuition, then we gonna give them $200 for a book that is fabricated, dry, and not teaching us anything that's actually correct and that's relevant to ourselves. Yeah, D, and that's exactly what we do. That's exactly what we do, and we got to stop doing it, man. That's one thing that we really have to stop doing. We really got to start supporting the honest brothers and sisters that's out here really putting in the work. Again, I'm not talking about the scammers. You're going to have scammers everywhere you go. And that's another thing that I don't like people overly focusing on. They focus on these black conscious people that are scammers. And then they say, that's why I don't support black people. Man, y'all know how many, don't even get me started on white collar criminals, but y'all know how many white dudes that did the same thing that these so-called black conscious dudes that did. Matter of fact, where y'all think these black conscious dudes got it from? So don't act like you ain't never been scammed by a white person. Don't act like you ain't never been scammed by an Asian. Don't act like you ain't never been scammed by anybody else other than a black person. So don't say that. So when you get scammed by that black person, don't be saying, well, that's the reason why I don't support black business, because they be out here scamming. Come on, man. Don't act like you ain't been scammed by no other group of people. I can tell you for a fact that I've been scammed by several groups. Well, at least not scammed, but they have attempted to scam me. So come on now. So that's another thing that I really despise when people talk about that. I've been scammed. They be out here scamming. These dudes be what they call them, the hotel, the conscious hotel community, whatever they try to call it. They try to make hotel about to be a bad word, but then they start joking about it. Oh, they scammers. Like, come on, man. I didn't have people. Oh yeah, Amos Wilson is one of my favorite authors, if not my favorite. But what kills me in regards to us supporting one another, and this is stuff that I've came across. I don't know if you've came across it, but I've literally had brothers. It's mainly brothers that I see I've had a lot of brothers, I've seen a lot of brothers criticize other brothers. What is the criticism? Well, they criticize brothers for creating a product and attaching a price to the product. So apparently now when you create a product and you attach a price to a product, now you are a sellout because you are selling a product or you are selling a service. We have to overlook all the free content that the person has put out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case may be. The moment they come out with a book and they say, pay $20 for my book, then all of a sudden everybody gets in their feelings and be like, oh, this information should be free. You shouldn't be charging me $20 for some information that I can look up. That's crazy. So this person, you'd have been watching this person on YouTube for 10 years and they didn't been giving you all free game. You'd have been following this person on Facebook for 10 years and they've been giving you all free game. The moment they put stuff in book form and they put a price to it, now they a sellout because they're trying to earn a living based off of the information. That don't even make any sense. Like, that's not even worth calling a person a sellout for. Like, I mean, I've literally seen that. Like, that's crazy to me. Simply because a person said, well, you know what? I'm going to try to earn a living off of this information because a lot of people tend to like it. So I'm going to create a book. I'm going to create an ebook. I'm going to create something based off of the information that I've been putting together just for people to support. You selling out? This information should be free. Why are you trying to put a price on the information? Wow. Like, I've literally seen that. Antoinette, peace. What's going on? Glad to have you tuning in and tapping in with me. Yeah, D, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like you done been following. If I've been rocking with somebody, and I'm this type of person, if I rock with you, I'm gonna probably buy everything that you got. Like, when I came across some conscious artists, like the moment I came across K Reno, that's one of my favorite so-called conscious artists. The moment I came across K Reno, this was like when I was in college. What did I do? I literally looked this back when you had to purchase the album on iTunes. I purchased every album that he had put out up to that point. Like, that's what I did. I didn't say, oh, I can go look these songs up on YouTube for free and download them. I can find a way to download these for free. No, I said, man, I appreciate this information that he putting on these songs. Let me go support this, bro. Yeah, I can listen to the song for free on YouTube. Yeah, I can find a way to download the song for free. But no, this dude putting his life on the line by giving us this type of music with this type of content. I'm going to just buy it off the strength of supporting the dude. Like, that's what I'm going to do. If I've been rocking with you for a minute and you've been motivating me, you've been inspiring me, then I'm going to try. You got some clothes? I'm finna go buy a shirt. Some of the dudes that I fool with in the fitness space, I was rocking with some dudes in the fitness space. I go on their side. I say, man, let me buy some sweatpants from them. Then I get some more money, man. Let me buy a hoodie from them. Let me buy a shirt from them. Like, that's the type of stuff that I do. Man, I can go get a hoodie for cheap. I can go get some sweatpants for a lot less. But no, I rock with what you're doing. You've been motivating me, and it's free of charge. I just been following you on these platforms. So why not support you financially? Why not, man? I don't understand like the big deal behind that. I don't understand why I got to call you a sellout because now you selling me products. Now that don't even make any sense. Yeah, Lindell, most definitely. Like I said, they had spent $100 on some Jordans, and again, it ain't even got to be. They won't even spend $30, man, to go. They won't even spend $30 to go hear somebody speak that'll change their life. And to let you know how, like, we need to put money in our self-development. Go look at somebody like Tony Robbins, right? This dude be having workshops, man. He might be charging $10,000-$20,000, man, to go to this workshop, this 2-day workshop. Man, these white people, man, they spend their last dime on their self-help. They spend everything in their savings account to go get that help. This is stuff that they could essentially go get for free. They can look this type of stuff up on YouTube. They can get this inspiration for free. But they say, nah, you know what? I'm gonna support Tony Robbins. I'm gonna spend my, I'm gonna take everything out of my savings. I'm gonna spend this $10,000 because I need this life-changing experience. Try to do that on the black end. Try to do that on the black end. Try to say, all right, man, I'm gonna hold this 2-day seminar, and it's gonna be like a holistic retreat, and it's gonna be 10,000. You give them 2-3 years to even save up for it. Man, just imagine the type of sellout you about to get called. I don't hear the white community calling Tony Robbins a sellout. I don't hear the white community calling all these motivational speakers sellouts because they charging you $5,000-$10,000 to come hear them speak. I don't hear them talk about their own like that. I really don't. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the obvious sellouts and the obvious scammers. I'm talking about the honest people, the people that really thrive off motivating people. Like, I'm talking about these honest people. We would call them sellouts because they charging a few hundred, few thousand for a workshop. Man, if you just can't afford it, then you just can't afford it. But man, listen, if I'm able to muster up the money, I'll pay a few thousand, man, to listen to somebody who has been motivating me, who done inspired me, just to get that hands-on experience, that live experience. I have no problem doing that. And Sean, yeah, man, I got so many books that I didn't lend out to people or loan to people that I haven't gotten back. Yeah, D, that's what I'm saying. They look into it. I mean, literally, the book is $6. And if you implement everything that I incorporated into that book, man, you might reverse conditions that you may have. Like, I literally, like, the stuff that's literally in that book can save your life in regards to just dietary information. And it's just $6. And people act like that is a bunch of money. I mean, $6. $6. So I mean, that's the type of stuff that I'll come across. And Century K Reno, yeah, that's my dude. That's my dude, man. Like I said, when I came across his content, his music, I literally bought every album. Matter of fact, and it was a queen on my Facebook. So I expressed the goal. I said, all right, I'm about to use a planner. I'm about to start using a planner because I feel like I need to improve my organizational skills. And I feel like a planner is something that'll help me. It's a queen on there. She said she's starting to make planners. She's about to start a planner making business. So I told her, and I asked her on the spot. I was like, hey, how much you charging? Even though I just bought a planner, I was like, I'm still going to support you off the strength because you've been rocking with me for a minute and I support you. So even though I got a planner already, because I went out and bought one, I said, I'm going to support you. I'm going to buy a planner from you. So she said she going to have her website up in about 2 weeks. And I said, boom, I'm going to support that. I'm going to buy a planner from you just off the strength. Like, just off the strength of me supporting this sister in her endeavors. So when I rock with you, I am going to strive to support you. I'm not about to complain about it. If I can't afford it now, I'm going to wait till I can afford it. Then I'm going to support you. But if I can't afford it, I'm not about to knock it. Ah, man, that's too much for a planner. Ah, that's too much for a book. All right, I ain't got that 25 right now, but when I get it, I got you. Oh, man, I'm telling you. And I appreciate that support, but man, I am the same way, man. If I rock with you, the moment that you put out a product, let me know. Let me know. And that's even y'all on this thread, man. If y'all got something I can support, let me know. I know I got a few people that's been working on some things that's on this thread, man. That's just let me know. Brittany Williams, my book. Matter of fact, it's on Amazon, and I got the link in the description of this video. I got the link in the description of this video, and you just go on Amazon, just order it. Real simple. But I got the description. I got it in the description. The link in the description of this video. D, I'm gonna do you one good, man. I made some tank tops, right? That had my brand on it. Simple. This is simple business. It's just simple business. Made a tank top, put my brand on the tank top. I'm thinking this is gonna make sense because when you look at any entertainer and their clothing, a shirt with just their logo on it might cost you $100. So I'm like, all right, people gonna understand that when I come out with this tank top and it's got my logo on it, because I was starting the gym up, so I wanted to put the logo on the tank top. I'm making workout clothes. That's why I chose tank top. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put the logo on the tank top. And I think, man, what it was, man, I think I may have charged $30, $35, one up. I'm talking about some people that's close to me, not people that rock with me on Facebook, not people that rock with me on YouTube. I'm talking about people that rock with me physically. Where I'm at was like, man, I ain't know the tank top was gonna cost $30. I was thinking more like 15. I'm like, wow, really? I'm like, dude, what do you think I'm doing this for? If I'm charging $15 for a tank top, man, I done made it in life. If I'm able to charge $15 for a tank top, like I've made it in life. I'm like, dude, I'm doing this. This is another stream of income, man. I feel like $30 is reasonable because you can go. What entertainer, man? I just throw an entertainer out there, man. Even RIP to Nip. But when I supported Nip, his marathon clothing, man, them shirts was expensive. And it wasn't really nothing spectacular about the shirt. It might have just had dude face on, or it may say marathon, or it may say Crenshaw. Man, I spent some money on his shirts. I spent some money on his apparel. This was before he died, but I spent some money on his apparel. I wasn't like, oh man, I can go find a shirt for $20. Nah, I was like, all right, so his shirt about 60, about 50. All right, I got it. I'm buying it. It's a one-time thing, so I'm gonna buy the shirt. It ain't like I got it. It ain't like it's not like it's a subscription to where I'm gonna have to spend $60 every month. Man, it's a one-time spend. But I bought 2-3 shirts from him. But man, his shirts was expensive. I don't know if you all purchased any type of marathon clothing, but man, the stuff wasn't cheap. But I wasn't sitting around crying about it. I was like, all right, now I got the 60, I got the 70 to spend. I'm finna get it. Antoinette, most definitely. And that's what I'm even talking about with the workshop that I got planned. And the reason why I mentioned like Tony Robbins, because that's one of the things that I aspire to do. But I rock with like Eric Thomas and Les Brown, because of course I rock with my people first. But I study motivational speakers. And that's one thing that I aspire to do. So I aspire to put together seminars and workshops. I got the first one coming in the summer of next year. So this is something that I aspire to do. And I was just looking at the type of money that people were spending to go see Tony Robbins. And the dude hadn't said anything that I hadn't said in regards to just motivating people. And this was before I even came across this information. And he talked about NLP. That's where I actually heard about NLP from, because he mentioned, I read a book that dude had written, and he talked about NLP. That's how I got into that neuro-linguistic programming and things like that. Like that's when I got into it, because I read a book that he had did, because I was studying motivational speakers, because that's something that I aspire to do and be. And then I started doing the knowledge. I'm like, man, people paying what now to go see dude, to be motivated by dude? But again, it's like they say, you're not really paying for the information, you paying for the experience. You paying for the experience. So it's a different type of experience that you get from going to that type of event or seminar or workshop. And that's what I offer. It's a different type of experience. So again, you can get the information from anywhere, but the experience is just like my workouts. You can try to look up how to work out to lose weight, but when I actually put you through it, it's a whole different experience. Or you're pushing, I don't know if you heard me, but like I said, I got the link to the book in the description of this video. Brittany, and there you see, you said you didn't see it on Amazon. See, that's one thing. I went through that. I was looking for my own book the other day, and I said they was hiding my book. So I don't even know if you can type it in and see it. I don't even know. That's why I put the link in the description, because when I was looking up my book, it had vanished. And then the next day after I made a post about it, it was back on there. So I don't even know if you look it up and see it. Dominique, man, listen, in regards to I even got clients that's mad at me for what I'm charging them to train them. They say I should be charging way more than what I charge. That's how crazy it is. Like, they mad at me. And some people come at me and act like they can't pay what I'm like, man, I was like, I'm worth way more than what I'm actually charging. Some people act like what I'm charging is crazy. But I got clients that's mad right now. They're like, man, I feel bad for paying you what you charge. I feel like you're worth way more than this. Redbird 101, most definitely. Century, them seven albums K Rino dropped, man, goat level. Like that, and those joints were not like he didn't drop 7 albums and they were like whack. Like it was all content, all information, all stories, just all reality that you can relate to on those 7 albums. Like I said, man, if you're not familiar with K Rino, man, go start listening to them now. Shine, I'll probably drop my next book next month. And it's gonna be more so on the motivational end, on the mental end, on the self-help end. And then I'm gonna make another book about something that's pertaining to probably because people have been asking me, they've been asking me to make like a black guide to veganism, just how to transition over to the plant-based lifestyle. So that's probably gonna be the next book after this next book. I'm gonna try to break a record. I'm gonna try to do K Rino type vibes. I'm gonna try to put out so many books next year that it's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna try to break a record. But I'm gonna at least try to put out about 8 to 10 books next year. I feel like I can do that. Because I'm constantly typing every day and I'm constantly doing the knowledge. It's just a matter of me putting the stuff out there. And yeah, Almighty D, I got 2 brands. So I got Almighty Vegan for the ones that are vegan, such as myself. And then I got Almighty Fitness. And that's basically if you're not vegan, then you can just support the Almighty Fitness brand. Because again, you don't want to walk around something that's saying Almighty Vegan and you're not vegan. So I got Almighty Fitness to counter that. So it's really 2 brands in one. So Almighty Vegan, if you vegan, then Almighty Fitness. But yeah, D, like I said, man, it was nip, man. So I was working, man. I just supported a lot of my people, and I spent some money. I spent some money in the fitness space supporting some black people. I done spent some money in the musical, like the stuff that I fool with. I have spent some money on my brothers, and I spent some money on my sisters. Like Cyrock, once I came across a lot of her content, I started purchasing. I hold on. I said, hold on. Who is this? Who is she? I'm finna purchase everything she got. So I started supporting her out the gate. So I was like, hold on, man. She putting out some quality content. Purchase. Oh yeah, D. I don't know if like when he died, I tried to support him off the strength of that. Like I tried to throw some money their way, so donate. So I wanted to support, man, but they was backed up. I had bought something when they died. I ain't get that shirt. Man, I ain't get that shirt to like 3 months. But I mean, I expected that though. Just due to what had happened, I knew the volume of the orders would be high. But man, they was backed up. But you start seeing Marathon clothing everywhere after that. What they say, you worth more when you're dead opposed to when you are alive, and that's sad. Oh, D, man, then we could definitely chop it up. I can show you how to get into that space. You're pushing. There you go. Appreciate you. Yeah, Alonzo, matter of fact, and one of my clients, she didn't even tell me. She just changed the price for me. So I was charging her one thing, and she just said, you know what? I don't feel right paying you this. So she paid me $50 more. So she took it upon herself to just pay me more. And I was like, okay. And when she did that, I just changed the price off of the strength of that. Now that's love right there. That was peace. That was peace, man. She said, you know what? I'm finna pay you about $50 more than what you charge. And that's crazy. And on top of that, like she was one of my clients, like she was affected by the pandemic. So she had lost her job, like, and she still was like, you know what, I'm about to pay you more than what you asking for. So she actually did that. So that's peace. And that's the type of stuff that I had a brother that came out recently, man, to just work on my wife's car and whatnot. And I know the brother personally, and he said he was charging me one thing. I gave him extra. I gave him tip. Man, I'm like, man, you charging me what to come out here? Nah, I'm finna pay you more than that. Nah, you tripping. Because you came to me. So you a mobile mechanic. So nah, you know what? I'm paying you more. Century, most definitely. When I do my seminars and workshops, I'm gonna have all my books on deck. I'm gonna have all my clothing on deck. Best believe that. And I even got, I don't know if I told y'all, but I even got my immune boosting powders. I got 12 of those made. So I got a powder that I created. a concoction that I created. It's in powder form, and you can actually incorporate this. You can put this powder in smoothies. I mean, you can literally chew the powder. You can put it in water, drink the water. You can use it as an ingredient while you're cooking, but it's an immune boosting powder. It's made to boost the immune system, and it may help you with your energy level. So I got 12 batches of those ready to whip out and sell. So I'm gonna have these immune powders on deck. That's something new that I'm working on. Yeah, D, most definitely. Yeah, Redbird. Like I said, this powder that I created, this concoction that I created, you can put it in smoothies. That's probably the best way to consume it. But it's protecting. It's all for the immune system. It's 100% for the immune system. Shine Dow, peace. What's going on? So I'm gonna start selling these. I mean, if you want to buy one right now, like personally, because I haven't started promoting them yet, but if you want one personally right now, you could just find me on Instagram or Facebook and just message me, and we could work on it like that. But I haven't started promoting this powder yet. But I got 12 batches made. So if you want one, all I got to do is send it and ship it out to you. But I haven't started promoting them yet. But like I said, I got them here made. I done been using them myself. Like y'all know, I ain't been suffering from nothing. In the midst of this whole pandemic, I ain't got the slightest cold. And these some of the concoctions that I've been using so I combined them and made a powder out of them. Century, most definitely. And that's one of the reasons why, I don't like to express a lot of concern, man, because again, I just know once you plant the proper seeds, everything is going to flow according to that. So all I got to do is just put in the work, man. I just got to follow the formula. Follow the formula. That's all I got to do, man. Just continue to plant those proper seeds. And that's what I tell everybody else to do. That's what I tell everybody else to do. I'm always encouraging everybody to do that, man. Just plant the proper seeds and just do the work that's required. You do those two things, man, everything will flow according to that. Oh, Shine Dow, it ain't we lit. And that's what I was talking about of course, we didn't deviate from the actual topic, but that's one part about embracing the God within you. You always operating at that higher level of intelligence, at that higher vibration, as that supreme being, as that supreme mind, as that supreme intelligence. So that's how we always are going to operate. That's how I'm always striving to operate. That's one aspect, one quality of being God, man. You got to operate on that supreme level at all times. You got to operate utilizing that highest form of intelligence at all times. People talk about dumbing yourself down. That sounds cool and all, but I don't have to dumb myself down, man. I can educate you and I can uplift you. I can bring you up to where I'm at. So I don't have to dumb myself down, man. I know how to bring myself down slightly and then bring you up to where I was or where I'm at. If you feel as if, and I want to clarify that, if you feel as if I'm on a higher level. So if you feel like I'm on a higher level, I know how to say, you know what? I'm actually right where you at. We actually on this same vibe. We actually on this same vibration. I know how to make you see that within yourself. Because again, if you want to look at me and you feel like, if you analyze my life and you feel like I'm up here and you down here, nah, I'm gonna give you that reality check. No, not happening. You right where I'm at. You may even surpass me. You may even be higher than me. And I'm able to help people see that. So it's really no difference in you and me. No difference at all. So a lot of times people see people on these platforms and they put these people on a pedestal. No, indeed. There's no difference between the person that you're watching and you. Only difference is you just watching the person. That's it. And they speaking. That's it though. But at the end of the day, it's no difference there. They not more intelligent. They not smarter. They not wiser. Period. You got that. You got the same potential that they have. You got the same intelligence that they have. You just got to tap in and activate. Thunder Scorpion, what's going on? Tavon Peace, what's going on? King Luke, what's going on? How y'all living? Redbird, most definitely, yeah, definitely hit me up. Like I said, this powder, I'm gonna probably start promoting the powder in probably about another week or so. But like I said, I got the secret stash over here, the exclusive stash for the people that, you know what I'm saying, want to get it now. But it definitely helps in protecting that immune system. Put them joints in that smoothie, and you rocking and rolling. You rocking and rolling. Thunder Scorpion, man, most definitely. But a lot of people not really gonna adhere to that information that was spoken, because again, a lot of people, man, they just after that power. They want to feel like they superior over other people. I tell people all the time, I don't know nothing, and that's what keeps me eager to learn. Because I tell people, like I said, I know absolutely nothing. So a lot of people on some of the platforms, they appear, or they think that they know a lot, or they think they know something that everybody else don't. I know that I don't. I know that I don't. The difference is, what I'm doing is I'm just taking some of the things that I learned, and I just get on here and I talk about it. That's it, though. Like that's literally all that I'm doing. That's literally it. I'm taking the information that I gather and I'm sharing it with the people. That's about it, though. I'm not making it look like this is some esoteric knowledge. I'm, like I said, I give you my sources, I give you my books, show you where I got everything from. So it's not secret knowledge, not secret information. I'm a student of life like everybody else, or like everybody should be. So with that being said, man, I didn't got the, man, woo, I do this all the time, but I didn't got the building on several things. But it's always a pleasure, man. This been one of those Saturdays for you, man. I had a little busy morning. Wanted to chop it up with you all. I spent about the first hour staying on topic. Y'all know how I do. I tend to talk about any and everything, but I think I spent the first good hour or so. So if you just tuning in, you might want to go back, rewind, and watch the first hour to actually get the content that you probably came here for, that you saw was the title of the video. But I probably talked about that for the first hour or so, and then I start talking about any and everything else. Y'all know how that go. But I'm about to tune out, tap out. About to enjoy the rest of this Saturday, man. Hopefully y'all do the same. Get y'all some healthy foods in. And like I said, if you want to look into purchasing this powder that I created, this immune boosting powder, and it may help with your energy levels, if you follow me on Instagram, if you're friends with me on Facebook, just message me and I'll give you the details, and we can chop it up in that regards. Again, I got the link for my book in the description box in this video. And I think that's all, man. I think that's all. I'm gonna probably see y'all again maybe Monday. So y'all enjoy this Saturday evening. Y'all enjoy your Sunday. Y'all enjoy this weekend. Y'all stay healthy, stay safe, stay true to self. Get y'all some reading in, get y'all some learning in, stay motivated, get your affirmations in, all that good stuff, all that positive stuff. I'm out, y'all. Peace.